The world didn't end with a bang or a whimper. It ended with a formal noise complaint at 3 a.m. While the military failed to stop the undead with ballistic missiles, one woman's refusal to tolerate unkept lawns and loitering shamblers saved humanity. This is how we weaponized ultimate suburban entitlement to file the apocalypse into extinction. 1. The dawn of the Suburban Resistance. The cul-de-sac of Maplewood Estates was a masterpiece of Kentucky bluegrass and synchronized sprinkler systems. When the first wave of the undead shambled onto the Hendersons' yard, they didn't meet a shotgun-wielding survivor. They met Margaret. Margaret stood on her porch, not with a machete, but with a look of profound disappointment. She didn't see a ghoul. She saw an individual in desperate need of proper footwear and a haircut. "Excuse me," she barked, her voice cutting through the damp morning air. "This is a private community. Loitering is strictly prohibited between the hours of sunset and sunrise." The zombie groaned, a piece of its jaw hanging by a thread. Margaret didn't flinch. She donned her high-visibility neon vest, grabbed her laminated copy of the HOA bylaws, and dialed the neighborhood watch. The apocalypse had arrived, but it hadn't cleared security. 2. Weaponizing the noise ordinance. By the second night, the groans of the differently animated had reached a fever pitch. To the military, this was a terrifying death rattle. To Margaret, it was a non-permitted decibel violation. As the world outside the gated community burned, Margaret sat at her mahogany desk, her face illuminated by the glow of the Nextdoor app. She filed digital nuisance reports with the frantic precision of a concert pianist. Subject: unsanctioned vocalizations at 2:14 a.m. Resident at 42 Oak Street appears to be dragging a limb across the sidewalk, requesting immediate mediation. She realized then, the undead had no legal defense against a relentless paper trail. They had no social security numbers, no permits, and most importantly, no one to represent them in small claims court. And 3. The bureaucratic purge begins. Margaret didn't act alone. She organized a task force of local busybodies, the Maplewood Sentinels. Armed with clipboards, they moved through the neighborhood, tagging every unresponsive resident with neon orange violation stickers for public indecency. They scaled the operation rapidly. The apocalypse was no longer a biological disaster. It was an unauthorized block party lacking a sanitation plan. "I don't care if you're eating the mailman," Margaret told a shambler trapped in a gazebo. "You haven't filed a permit for an open fire pit, and your guests are blocking the fire hydrants." The sheer volume of paperwork generated by the Maplewood HOA became so gargantuan that local authorities, too overwhelmed to fight the virus, found it easier to just process Margaret's complaints to get her off the phone. For total eradication through red tape. The turning point came when Margaret established the no-bite zone. Any zombie caught within 50 feet of a fire hydrant was systematically towed by a local contractor who was more afraid of Margaret than the plague. She escalated her grievances to the state level, citing the rotting flesh not as a threat to life, but as a violation of biohazard disposal protocols. She cited Section 4, Paragraph 12 of the Health and Safety Code so many times that the governor signed an executive order just to stop the emails. The zombie horde didn't fall to bullets. They fell to the soul-crushing efficiency of a board meeting. They were impounded, fined into oblivion, and eventually relocated because they couldn't afford the mounting late fees on their unnatural presence. 5. The New World Order of Orderliness. Today, Maplewood Estates is the only untouched sanctuary on the continent. Its borders are fortified not by walls of steel, but by a standard of entry so high that even the living struggle to pass. We learned a hard lesson. While the military is great for combat, let me speak to your manager energy is the only thing capable of managing a global crisis. The world is safe, the lawns are mowed to a precise 2.5 inches, and the silence is absolute. But a final warning to the survivors. The zombies may be gone, but the late fees for unraked leaves are still very much in effect. Like and subscribe for more stories like this.